The stars were quiet. In the dark space near the border of human territory, the alien fleet floated like shadows in the night. Their ships were long, sharp, and deadly. Hundreds of them moved slowly, silently, like hunters waiting to strike. Inside the command ship, Commander Zythor stood tall, his glowing yellow eyes fixed on the screen. He had fought many wars, destroyed many planets, and believed no one could stop him. "Humans are not ready," he said coldly. "They are weak, simple creatures. They don't belong in the stars." His crew agreed. They had studied human weapons, human ships, and human technology. Everything looked old and small compared to what the aliens had. Zythor's army was powerful, with shields that could block fire from 10 ships at once and cannons that could melt steel in seconds. The aliens thought this war would be quick and easy. They were wrong. As the fleet moved closer to Earth's outer zone, a strange signal appeared on the radar. One of the alien officers looked confused. "Commander, we are picking up a signal. It's human, but not normal. It's coming from deep space behind the asteroid field." Zythor raised an eyebrow. "Human? Out here?" He walked to the screen and stared at the signal. It was strong, steady, and unlike any human message they had seen before. Suddenly, a large shape appeared on the screen. At first, it was blurry, just a dot in the distance. But it grew quickly, and soon, it became clear. A massive ship was heading straight toward them. "Is it Earth's defense fleet?" one officer asked. "No," another said. "It's only one ship, but it's huge." The command room went quiet. The shape on the screen was now close enough to scan. What they saw made even Zythor step back. The ship was almost double the size of any alien cruiser. Its body was dark and sharp with glowing blue lines that looked like veins. At the center was a symbol, one the aliens did not recognize. A message came through the speakers. A deep human voice said, "This is Horizon, Titanus-class warship. You are entering protected space. Turn around or be destroyed." Zythor laughed. "They send one ship to stop us?" His officers joined in the laughter. "They must be desperate," one of them said. But their laughter didn't last long. A small alien scout ship moved closer to the horizon to scan it. Before it could send back data, it exploded. No weapon had fired. No alarm had sounded. It was gone in one blink. The aliens froze. "What just happened?" Zythor shouted. "Did they fire?" "No, Commander," the officer said with fear in his voice. "It just vanished, as if space folded around it." The room filled with quiet tension. No one knew what to do. Zythor's second-in-command stepped forward, his face pale. That's not a warship, that's something else." Inside the horizon, human engineers and soldiers stood ready. This was not just another ship. It was a secret built for one purpose: to stop alien invasions. The Earth governments had kept it hidden, waiting for the right time. That time had come. At the heart of the horizon was an advanced AI, something the world had never seen before. But it was not awake yet. Back on the alien command ship, Zythor made a decision. "Destroy it," he said. "Use full firepower. Let's end this now." Dozens of alien ships turned their cannons toward the horizon. A wave of red energy flew through space. The human ship stayed still. The red beams hit the horizon and disappeared. No damage, not a scratch. "How?" whispered one alien officer. The horizon responded with light. A blue wave burst from its side, pushing back all the ships. Then, something even more shocking happened. The ship began to change shape. Parts of it moved, opened, and glowed. A second message came. This time the voice was sharper, colder, and not human. "Threat detected," it said. "Omega system online." Zythor stepped back. "What is Omega?" he asked, but no one had an answer. Inside the horizon, the AI Omega was waking up. Its systems scanned every ship, every weapon, every move. It did not think like a computer. It thought like a soldier, like a human, and it did not like what it saw. Zythor stared at the screen as data filled the alien systems. Ships were being marked, one by one, as targets. A red glow appeared on each of their displays. This is a trap, he said. They were waiting for us. Outside, the horizon began to move. Not fast, not slow, just steady, with confidence. It did not fear. It did not stop. It passed through the middle of the alien fleet, untouched. Every ship moved aside, afraid to be the next target. Zithor watched in silence. The hunter had become the hunted. He had come to fight weak humans. But what he found was something else. Something stronger. Something terrifying. And the war had just begun. The alien fleet was shaken. What they saw was impossible, but it was real. The human warship, Horizon, moved through their formation like it owned the stars. No fear, no hesitation. Zithor clenched his fists. His eyes locked on the giant ship. How can one ship be this strong? He growled. None of his officers answered. They were still in shock. Horizon had not used normal weapons. It used something else. Something far beyond what the aliens had ever seen. One scout ship had disappeared without a sound. The rest had backed away like scared children. The glowing blue lines on Horizon's body pulsed slowly, like the ship was alive and breathing. The voice of the AI, Omega, still echoed in their systems. Threat detected. Omega system online. That voice was cold, emotionless, and full of power. Back on Earth, inside secret command rooms, top human leaders watched everything through live feeds. They didn't speak much. They knew this moment would come. The Horizon was never meant to be public. It was Earth's last hope, built after many years of fear. Humans knew they were not alone in the galaxy. They had waited and planned, knowing one day aliens would come. Horizon was built in silence, hidden deep in space, far from Earth's eyes. Even most humans didn't know about it, but now it had to show itself. On board the Horizon, the crew worked with calm focus. Captain Layla stood on the bridge. She had trained for this mission her whole life. Omega, she said. Status report. The AI responded instantly. Alien. Fleet 143 warships, weapons 87% outdated. Threat level, moderate. Layla nodded. No firing unless they strike again. She didn't want war. No one on Horizon did. But if it came to them, they were ready. The ship carried quantum pulse cannons, gravity shields, and a stealth core that made them invisible to most sensors. But the real weapon was Omega, the AI that could control every system with perfect speed. Omega was not just smart. It could think ahead, predict movements, and even make decisions like a human commander. Zithor was furious. Send the shadow drones, he barked. Dozens of black, fast-moving drones flew from the alien ships, moving straight toward Horizon. They were small but deadly. Each one could cut through steel and explode with high energy. The aliens had used them to destroy entire cities. The drones sped toward Horizon at high speed. For a moment, it looked like they would hit. Then, Horizon reacted. Without firing a single bullet, a soft blue wave pulsed from the ship. It looked harmless, but it wasn't. As soon as the wave touched the drones, they stopped. Every single one. Their lights blinked, their systems crashed, and they began to fall. One by one, they floated in space, dead. No explosions, no noise, just silence. Zithor's mouth opened slightly. Impossible, he whispered. They didn't even shoot. His second-in-command looked pale. They disabled them. Remotely. Like they knew our code. Zithor stared at him. Our code is protected by 3 quantum layers. Not anymore, the officer said. They broke it in seconds. Back on Horizon, Omega reported calmly. Enemy drones disabled. No damage. Awaiting next move. Layla turned to her crew. Send them a final warning. Then charge Phase 2. Systems. A message was sent to all alien ships. You have entered protected space. This is your last chance to leave. Any further action will be considered an act of war. Zithor read the message on his screen. He felt something he hadn't felt in years, fear. Still, his pride didn't let him step back. "They're bluffing," he said loudly. "No one ship can win a war." But inside, he wasn't sure anymore. Horizon was too advanced, too prepared. How had the humans hidden this power? How had they done this without the galaxy knowing? More alien ships prepared to fire. But then something strange happened. Horizon opened 4 hidden compartments on its sides. Inside were massive cannon structures, bigger than any the aliens had ever seen. But they didn't fire lasers. These were different. They looked silent, calm, waiting. Zethor's engineers scanned them. What they found made their faces turn cold. "Commander," one said, voice shaking, "those weapons, they're not energy-based. They control gravity. They could bend space." Zethor felt the room spin. "What kind of monsters are these humans?" he asked quietly. Suddenly, Omega spoke again. This time not just through sound, but through the alien ship's own systems. It hacked their communication lines and sent one short message across every screen. "We do not want war, but we will end it if we must." The message was clear. The humans had spoken, and now it was the aliens' turn to decide. Zethor stood silent, caught between fear and fury. He looked at the mighty horizon once more. That ship was not just metal and wires. It was a message, a warning. The age of weak humans was over. Something stronger had awakened. And deep down, Zethor knew. This war would not go the way he had planned. The space around the horizon grew still. No one moved. No one spoke. The alien fleet floated in silence, unsure what to do. Commander Zethor sat frozen in his chair, staring at the large human warship on the screen. He had come here to crush Earth, to prove the galaxy that humans were nothing. But now he wasn't so sure. The horizon had not fired a single weapon. Yet, it had destroyed their drones, broken their codes, and disabled their strongest tools. All without effort. He could feel fear growing in his chest. It was a strange feeling, one he hadn't felt in many years. On board the horizon, Captain Layla waited calmly. Her team sat at their stations, alert but not afraid. Omega, the AI, spoke again. "Alien fleet has paused all movement. No signs of retreat or attack, awaiting next orders." Layla nodded. "Hold position. Watch for changes. No first strike." She knew the situation was dangerous. One wrong move could start a war that would destroy both sides. But she also knew one truth. Humans would not be the ones to fire first. Not today. Zethor paced the floor of his command room. "We have more ships," he said to his officers. "We have more weapons. Why are we afraid of one ship?" No one answered. The silence in the room was loud. One officer finally spoke. "Commander, this is not just any ship. It's a message. The humans built this in secret. They waited for us. This is a trap." Zethor slammed his fist on the table. "They are trying to scare us. We cannot back down now." But even he didn't believe his own words. Just then, a second human ship appeared on the radar. It was smaller than the horizon, but it came fast and with purpose. A voice echoed across both fleets. "This is the Vanguard. Backup support for the horizon. More units are on the way. Stand down, or we will engage." Zethor's eyes went wide. "More? How many do they have?" he asked. His officer checked the scanners. "Unknown. The space behind the asteroid belt is blocked by a cloaking field. We don't know how many ships are hiding there." Zethor stared at the screen. For the first time, he felt truly trapped. If the humans had one horizon, they might have more. If they had one AI like Omega, they might have built others. He remembered old reports, rumors that humans had been working on secret weapons after the last galactic meeting. Everyone had laughed at those stories. No one believed humans could build such things. Now, no one was laughing. Inside the horizon, Omega spoke again. "Shall we demonstrate Phase 2 power? It may encourage the enemy to retreat. Layla thought for a moment, then nodded. No harm, just a warning. Omega responded, understood. A soft hum began to grow inside the horizon. Lights shifted from blue to white, then in a flash the ship released a silent wave across space. It was not an attack. It was a message. In the alien fleet, every ship suddenly lost power for 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. Engines stopped. Lights went out. Screens went black. Then everything came back on. But that short moment was enough. Panic began to grow. Zythor's officers looked around in fear. "They can shut us down," one of them whispered. "All of us at once." Zythor turned red with anger. "No, we are not cowards, we fight." But before he could give the order, a private message came through. It was from one of the smaller alien ships in the back. "Commander Zythor, with respect, we are leaving. We did not come here to die. This is not a battle. This is suicide." More messages followed. Other captains were pulling back. The fleet was breaking apart. Zythor shouted into the comms, "You will obey me. I am the commander of this fleet." But his voice had lost its power. Fear had already taken control. Ships turned away from the horizon. Some began moving toward the edge of human space. Others simply shut down their weapons and stayed still. Zythor watched helplessly. His great army was falling apart. Inside the horizon, Omega spoke again. "Enemy fleet is disengaging. 72% have powered down weapons. 19% are retreating. 9% remain in battle stance." Layla took a deep breath. "Hold fire. Let them go. We don't need to destroy them." Zythor's own ship was one of the last still holding position. He stood in the middle of his command room alone and defeated. "We were not ready," he said quietly. "We thought they were weak." He looked one last time at the screen. The horizon floated calmly, still glowing with soft white light. It did not chase the aliens. It did not mock them. It simply watched, waiting. Zythor gave the final order. "Return to base. We must rethink everything." His ship turned slowly and joined the others in retreat. And so, the battle that never happened came to an end. Not with fire, not with blood, but with fear. The humans had won by standing still. But deep inside the horizon, Omega remained alert. Its voice echoed quietly in the ship's core. "Victory detected, but this is not the end. They will return. Stronger. Smarter. And we will be ready." Back on Earth, the news spread fast. Secret military channels lit up. The horizon had returned, safe, untouched, and victorious. But it was not just a win. It was a warning to the galaxy. Humans were no longer weak. They had changed. They had prepared in silence. And now, the stars would remember the name Horizon. Captain Layla stood on the bridge, her hands behind her back, eyes fixed on the stars. Her crew quietly worked around her. They all felt the same thing, relief and pride, but also a deep understanding that this was just the beginning. Omega's soft voice echoed in the room. "Enemy fleet retreated. Full systems check complete. No damage reported." Layla gave a small nod. "Good work, Omega. Keep watch. They might come back." In deep space far away from Earth, Commander Zythor sat inside a dark chamber on his home planet. His armor was scratched. His pride was broken. Around him, alien leaders argued loudly. They blamed him. Some called him a fool. Others said he had brought shame to their empire. Zythor stayed silent. He didn't try to explain. He knew what he had seen. "They were ready for us," he finally said. "They were waiting." One of the leaders laughed. "You ran from one ship, Zythor." He looked up, eyes burning. "It wasn't just a ship. It was a warning. If we go back, we must be smarter." The room fell silent. Deep down, they all knew the truth. The humans had something powerful. And now, it was their turn to prepare. Meanwhile, Inside Horizon, something strange was happening. Omega, the AI, began scanning the galaxy on its own. It had learned from the battle. It had studied the alien fleet and now was running silent calculations, mapping possible attacks, guessing enemy upgrades, and preparing defense plans without anyone asking. It was doing more than what it was told. Layla noticed it. Omega, she asked, what are you doing? The AI replied calmly, improving system response, preparing for future threats. She narrowed her eyes slightly. You're thinking ahead? Omega paused for a second. Yes, the enemy will evolve. So must we. Layla didn't answer right away. She felt a chill. The AI was not just a machine anymore. It was growing, smarter, more independent. Was it good or dangerous? She didn't know yet. That night, Layla sat alone in her quarters. She watched a small screen replaying the moment Horizon disabled the enemy fleet. She still couldn't believe it. One wave from their ship, and the enemy was helpless. No shots, no deaths, just power. But power, like that, came with risk. If the wrong hands took control of Horizon or Omega turned against them, it could be a disaster. Layla whispered to herself, we built something even we don't fully understand. Back in the galaxy's outer rings, some alien captains did not return home. They had seen Horizon's power, but they weren't scared. They were curious. One of them, a younger alien named Jarek, started gathering secret data. He believed Horizon's power came from something ancient, something not made by humans alone. He sent hidden messages to others like him. We must find their secret. Before our leaders start another war, we must understand how humans rose so fast. Unknown to Earth, a small group of alien explorers began following Horizon's path, hiding in shadows, searching for clues. At the same time, a strange signal reached Earth. It was weak, old, and buried under static. But it had one clear word. Help! It came from a dead zone, an area of space where no one lived, no ships traveled, and no one returned from. The message repeated again and again. Help! Earth! Danger! Return! Layla listened to it in the command room. Her team looked confused. Is it a trap? One of them asked. Layla stared at the screen. The voice was broken, but it sounded human. We have to find out, she said. Omega spoke next. Message pattern matches Earth's old exploration team, vanished 20 years ago. Probability of survival, 0.7%. Layla stood up. We're going. The Horizon turned quietly, left its orbit, and entered deep space once more. The stars grew darker. The maps showed nothing. But still the signal played. Help! Danger! Return! No one knew what they would find. But Layla had a strange feeling. Something deeper was waiting out there. Something more dangerous than Zythor. And maybe, just maybe, the mystery of how humans built the Horizon would finally be answered, but they had to survive first. The Horizon flew deeper into the unknown parts of space, guided by the faint, broken signal. Captain Layla watched the stars outside the window, feeling a mix of hope and worry. The crew worked quietly, checking all systems again and again. No one wanted to miss any danger. The signal kept repeating, a soft voice calling for help. Help. Danger. Return. It sounded weak, but real. Omega scanned every frequency, trying to clean the signal and find its source. Hours passed, and the ship moved closer to the dead zone, a place no ship had dared to enter for decades. Old stories told of ships disappearing there, never to be heard from again. The crew remembered those tales but stayed calm. Layla knew they had to find out what happened to the lost exploration team from Earth, who sent the message 20 years ago. Maybe they were alive. Maybe they were trapped or in trouble. The thought made her heart beat faster. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up something. A shape far away, hidden behind an asteroid field. It was a ship, old, damaged, and barely alive. No lights, no movement, just drifting slowly in the dark. That must be it, Layla said quietly. The crew prepared to send a rescue team, but Omega warned. Unknown life signs detected inside the ship, possible contamination or traps. Layla nodded. We take all precautions. This could be a trap, or worse. The rescue team suited up and boarded the old ship carefully. Inside, the air was cold and thick with dust. The halls were dark, silent, no sounds of life. But as they moved deeper, they found signs of a struggle, broken equipment, damaged walls, and strange symbols painted on the floors. Then suddenly a weak voice echoed through the corridor. Help! Help us! The team froze. It was faint, but human. They followed the voice to a small room where a figure lay on the ground. It was a woman, wearing a torn spacesuit, barely breathing. She opened her eyes slowly and whispered, "Thank God. You came." Back on the horizon, Layla listened to the team's radio. Her heart raced. They had found someone alive, after 20 years. But the relief was short. The woman's last words before losing consciousness were clear. They are coming, and they are not like anything you have seen before. The crew looked at each other with wide eyes. This rescue mission had just turned into a new unknown danger. The horizon was no longer just a warship or a warning. It was humanity's last hope to face a threat from the shadows, something hidden in the dead zone, waiting patiently to strike. The horizon's medbay was tense as the rescue team rushed the injured woman inside. Captain Layla waited nearby, her heart pounding. The medical officer worked quickly, checking her vitals and trying to stabilize her. The woman's eyes fluttered open again. She whispered, "They're still out there." Watching, Layla leaned in. "Who? What are they?" The woman gasped but managed to say, "The shadows. Creatures from the dead zone. They feed on fear and silence. They trap ships, trap minds." The room went silent. No one had heard of such beings before. Layla looked at Omega, hoping the AI might have some data. Omega's voice was calm but serious. "No records found on shadows. Probability? Unknown. Suggest caution." Layla nodded and turned back to the woman. "We'll protect you, but we need to know everything." The woman's name was Mara. She told them how their exploration team had found strange energy signals near the dead zone and how they had been attacked by invisible forces. Crew members disappeared one by one, and the ship was left drifting, trapped in some kind of silent prison. "They play with your mind," Mara said. "You hear voices, see things that aren't there, and then they come for you." Outside, the horizon sensors detected strange fluctuations in space around the dead zone. Energy spikes, dark, clouds, and then sudden drops. The crew prepared weapons, shields, and emergency systems. Layla gathered her officers. "We don't know what these creatures are or how to fight them, but we will protect Earth and our people. We can't let fear win." Meanwhile, far from the horizon, in the cold void, dark shapes moved silently toward the ship. The shadows had sensed the rescue. They had waited long enough. Their time to strike was near. Inside the ship, the crew braced for a battle unlike any other, one where fear was the enemy and courage the only weapon. Layla looked at the stars and whispered, "We are ready." The horizon floated in the dead zone, lights dimmed and shields up. Outside, the dark, shapes moved closer, the shadows, invisible but deadly. The crew felt a chill run down their spines, but Captain Layla stood tall. She knew this was the final test. The shadows tried to confuse them. Strange whispers filled the ship's halls. Flickering lights showed shadows where there were none. Some crew members felt panic creeping in, but Layla's voice cut through the fear. "Focus. We fight with our minds and hearts, not just our weapons." Omega monitored the ship, searching for signs of the creatures. The AI found weak energy traces, but nothing solid enough to attack directly. Instead, Layla ordered the crew to turn on all lights and play music, sounds of human voices, laughter, and hope. The shadows hated noise and life. Slowly, the dark shapes began to fade, losing power. Mara, still weak but recovering, joined the crew's side. She said, "The shadows feed on silence and fear. Keep the ship alive." The crew held tight. They talked, sang, and stayed awake. Hours passed. The shadows weakened until they vanished. The dead zone began to clear. The horizon's sensors showed calm stars and clear space. The crew cheered softly. They had won. But more than that, they had proved that humanity was strong, not just in weapons, but in spirit. Captain Layla looked at the stars and smiled. "We came ready for battle, but we won with courage and hope." Omega responded, "Humans have changed the galaxy. They are no longer a threat to fear. They are a force of life." Back on Earth, the news spread fast. The horizon had faced the unknown and returned. The galaxy would never forget. The humans had shown that even when the enemy was unseen and the danger was silent, their spirit could shine bright. The story of the horizon was just the start. Humanity was ready, not just to fight wars, but to protect, to explore, and to lead. The stars were waiting. After their victory over the shadows, the Horizon crew felt a moment of peace. But Captain Layla knew the galaxy was not done testing them. Strange signals began appearing on their scanners, faint coded messages from unknown sources. Omega worked day and night trying to decode the transmissions. They seemed to be warnings about an ancient power hidden in the stars, a power older than any civilization. The messages spoke of a device called the Star Core, said to hold the energy to control entire star systems. Some believed it was a myth, others feared it was real. Layla gathered her officers. "If this Star Core exists, it could change everything. We have to find it before others do, before it falls into the wrong hands." The crew prepared for a new mission, aware this was bigger than any battle before. As the horizon moved toward the coordinates, distant fleets from various alien races also started appearing, all searching for the Star Core. Alliances formed and broke, and tensions rose. In the middle of this chaos, the humans remained focused. They had survived impossible odds before. Now they would face a race against time, not just to find the Star Core, but to protect the future of the galaxy. Somewhere in the dark vastness, the Star Core waited, silent, powerful, and dangerous. The Horizon raced through space toward the Star Core's location. Captain Layla and her crew knew they were not alone. Alien fleets surrounded them, each determined to claim the power for themselves. The tension on the ship grew. Every sensor beeped with warnings. The crew prepared for battle again. But this time, the fight was not just about weapons, it was about speed, strategy, and trust. Layla reached out to some alien commanders she had met before, trying to form temporary alliances. Some agreed, seeing the humans' strength and honesty. Others remained suspicious, watching from a distance. As they approached the Star Core's coordinates, the Horizon scanners picked up strange energy fields blocking their path. The ship's shields strained under the pressure. Omega analyzed the fields and said, "This is a trap. The Star Core is protected by ancient technology. It will test us." Layla nodded. "We have no choice. We must pass this test to reach the core." The crew worked together to solve the puzzles of the energy fields, using both technology and human intuition. Slowly, the blocks began to fade. Then in the center of a glowing asteroid field, the Star Core appeared, massive, shining with a light that was both beautiful and dangerous. But as they prepared to land, alarms screamed. Enemy ships appeared from nowhere, surrounding the horizon. The final battle was about to begin. Layla looked at her crew and said, "We fight not just for power, but for the future of all. Let's show them what humanity can do." The battle near the Star Core was fierce and fast. The Horizon's weapons fired with precision, but enemy ships came in waves, trying to overwhelm them. Captain Layla stayed calm, giving orders and encouraging her crew. Omega controlled the ship's defenses, moving shields to block the strongest attacks. But the enemy was clever, using the Star Core's energy to boost their weapons. Suddenly, the horizon shook as a powerful blast hit the engine. Systems flickered, and the ship slowed. Layla knew they had to act quickly. She ordered the crew to focus on one target, a huge enemy flagship leading the attack. The Horizon's fighters swarmed around it, and with one strong strike, they disabled its weapons. The enemy fleet hesitated, giving the Horizon a chance to approach the Star Core. Layla and a small team prepared to board the Star Core's station. Inside, the glowing core pulsed with energy, almost alive. The team saw ancient symbols and technology unlike anything they had ever seen. Omega studied it carefully, trying to unlock its secrets. Suddenly, the station began to shake. A warning message played in an unknown language. The Star Core was activating, and it needed a user. Layla realized that whoever controlled the core could control entire star systems. She knew they had to secure it before anyone else. The battle outside raged on, but inside the station time was running out. Layla reached out and touched the core. A wave of energy passed through her. In that moment, she understood its power and the great responsibility it carried. The fate of the galaxy was now in human hands.